Somewhere in the rainforests of Colombia's Pacific coast lives an animal small enough to sit on your fingertip, bright enough to be mistaken for a child's toy, and lethal enough that touching it with bare skin can be fatal. This is the golden poison frog, and gram for gram, it's considered the most toxic animal on Earth. At just under 2 inches long and weighing barely a gram, the golden poison frog carries enough batrachotoxin in its skin to kill an estimated 10 to 20 adult humans, depending on the individual frog and the amount of toxin transferred. Batrachotoxin works by locking sodium channels in nerve and muscle cells permanently open, which prevents those cells from resetting after firing, leading to uncontrollable muscle contraction, heart failure, and death, often within minutes of a lethal exposure. There is no known antidote. The frog doesn't bite, sting, or inject its poison the way a snake or scorpion would. The toxin sits in specialized glands just beneath its skin, and simply touching the frog with a cut or broken patch of skin, or handling it and then touching your mouth or eyes, is enough to introduce a potentially fatal dose. Indigenous Emberá communities in the region have used this property for centuries, carefully rubbing the tips of blow darts against a live frog's back to coat them with enough toxin to bring down prey many times the frog's own size, a hunting technique documented well before European contact and still practiced by some communities today. What makes the golden poison frog particularly unusual is that the toxin isn't something its body manufactures from scratch. Research has shown that golden poison frogs raised in captivity on a controlled diet lose their toxicity almost entirely within a few years, becoming safe to handle. Their toxicity comes from their wild diet, specifically certain beetles and other small arthropods that themselves carry the toxic compounds the frog then accumulates and stores in its skin glands. Scientists still don't fully understand the original source of batrachotoxin in this food chain, but the frog's role is essentially that of a highly efficient toxin concentrator, taking trace amounts from its prey and building them into a defense potent enough to kill nearly anything that tries to eat it. That defense strategy explains the frog's other defining feature, its color. Golden poison frogs display bright, almost fluorescent yellow or orange skin with no attempt at camouflage whatsoever, a pattern found across many of the world's most toxic amphibians and often referred to as aposematism or warning coloration. In an environment full of predators, standing out rather than hiding sends an unmistakable signal, and the strategy works well enough that adult golden poison frogs have essentially no natural predators in their environment, a level of safety very few animals of any size ever achieve. One notable exception exists. A single snake species, Limnodophis epinephalis, has developed some resistance to the frog's toxin and is documented occasionally preying on golden poison frogs, though even this predator moves cautiously around them and doesn't appear to have complete immunity, since instances of snakes dying after consuming a particularly toxic frog have also been recorded. The golden poison frog is currently listed as endangered, with wild populations threatened primarily by deforestation and habitat loss across its narrow native range, which spans only a small strip of rainforest along Colombia's Pacific coast. Conservationists estimate the frog's total wild habitat continues shrinking each year, and because the species exists nowhere else on Earth, its long-term survival depends entirely on the protection of that single remaining stretch of forest. So the next time you see a photo of a small, brightly colored frog and think it looks almost too vivid to be real, remember that in the animal kingdom, color that intense is rarely decorative. In the case of the golden poison frog, it's a warning, and one of the most effective ones nature has ever produced. What surprised you more, the toxicity itself, or the fact that captive frogs eventually lose it entirely? Drop it in the comments and subscribe to NatureCrest for more deep dives into the animal kingdom's most extraordinary and most dangerous creatures.